Listen, it's slightly busted, the look, but the intent is still here. Recently, I've been seeing that Dahvie Vanity is being talked about again, and I think that's a really cool opportunity for me to vent the feelings that I've had for maybe the last 10 years. I was probably just entering middle school when I heard about Blood on the Dance Floor, which made me about 10 or 11. Me being a little emo black girl, I thought to myself, an emo band with loud music and bright colors, I'm in. Oh, two guys who look feminine, for sure, for sure, for sure. I watched two of their music videos and I was really not into them. I didn't like them. And I had also learned about the entire thing that happened with Jesse Slaughter. I apologized for dead naming Damien, Damien Leonhardt, I think. I just wanted to say what past me saw, what past me observed, and what past me knew of the situation. Now, this is back in the heyday where barely anything really got taken off of YouTube. You had things that stayed up forever and ever and ever, just occurring. Like, remember when annotations used to cover the screens? Like, people could write their own annotation, a little color box, and it would just cover the screen. I remember that being what happened with the Jesse Slaughter video. Just tons of these horrible, horrible comments that people left bullying this person. I didn't at the time know what 4chan was until I got older, but looking at this as a young person who was basically Jesse's age, maybe a year younger, it was horrifying and horrific to me. And even then, I did a lot of research, as much research as I possibly could. Now, this is when Encyclopedia Dramatica was still up and about and the server was still running and not being a complete shit show. And I remember still being really annoyed with how they discussed things because I thought they were being really rude. I said to myself, oh, they don't have to be that mean. This is a lot of unnecessary, like, pointed sentences. I'm just here for the information and the receipts. But places like Kiwi Farms, places like Encyclopedia Dramatica, although they are filled with people who are of a certain type, who maybe I wouldn't completely get along with, they come through with the receipts. Before Twitter had a chance to acquire the platform of receipts and callouts that it has now, Kiwi Farms, Encyclopedia Dramatica, and 4chan were the people who had the business. They had the knowledge. What honestly is true. They had the screenshots. They had the pictures. They had the HTML EPUB document so you could read everything without needing a PDF. They provided the RARs and the zip files. XD. The pulse of the entire thing with Dahvie Vanity has been going on for years and years and years, probably a decade now, I think. Like, Blood on the Dance Floor was still a thing when I was legitimately like a sophomore, my second semester as a sophomore, because I remember that I was up late at night, maybe 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. Me and my friend, I love her dearly, and then roommate, were scrolling through her computer looking at old fucking emo songs, and all of a sudden, I was like, you know what would be the best idea? Search up on the dance floor. We had to look at their old videos. And 34 or 40 minutes ago, they had just uploaded a song. I said, what kind of witchcraft, like, premonition am I on? Which, I mean, it wasn't entirely good because the song sucked and Blood on the Dance Floor is trash, but it was 4 in the morning, what were we supposed to do? You know? All jokes aside, I'd like to take a moment to talk about the people who have been horribly hurt by Dahvie Vanity and the people that have been involved with him. So many people left Dahvie Vanity and Blood on the Dance Floor. They don't, like, cut ties and cut associations with him, and you have to wonder why. I'd like to talk about two main things. One, Ash Costello. Ash Costello was in a band, and her band was emo, goth, pop, punk. I thought Ash was really amazing, and I liked Ash a lot because I'd heard about the band that she was in through some weird little online music publication back when I was in maybe fourth or fifth grade. There's a video from 2012 where you can see Dahvie Vanity, and it's been, I think, hypothesized, if not confirmed, that the person that they're yelling at is Ash Costello, who is like borderline teenager by that point. Even if it wasn't Ash, can you imagine having tons of people just screaming at you out of nowhere? This came very shortly after the Jesse Slaughter video. Now, recently, there was a YouTuber that did a really good interview. Pastel Bell did an interview with Damien, where Damien discussed the intrepid relationship between themselves and Dahvie Vanity. And it's so sickening to think about what the internet did to Damien. Not only was Damien a product of repeated sexual abuse by Dahvie Vanity, but the internet destroyed their home life. The internet came in and ripped apart a family. Being there for what was going on, I wasn't there actively. I was there to see the residuals. It is devastating. And Dahvie Vanity hasn't had to pay for any of what he's done, and he's been doing it for years. 4 years. I remember having friends on old forums who would discuss being predated on at the time by Dahvie Vanity. And they didn't talk about it like they were being predated on. They said, oh my god, I get to hang out with Dahvie Vanity, he's so hot, he's so cool. I remember very distantly reading about it in a magazine, and this was an online music magazine published however long ago, and it was this woman. And I don't know if I can access it anymore, but if I can, I will show it. I'll put screenshots up. But that was the only person who I know who openly, with a platform of any kind, discussed the Triple X video. And if you don't know what the Triple X video is, wouldn't blame you. There's so many pieces of evidence that can indict Dahvie Vanity, but it is one of the biggest pieces of evidence where, even thinking about it or trying to describe it, it's gross. Dahvie is there in the room, and there's another person in the room, and I think it's being recorded by Dahvie. This young girl who seems drunk. I think they even make mention to her of drinking, and she's all over him. She's all over him. She's doing and saying all of these things, and he's responding back in a very suggestive manner, and it's really gross. And at the end of the video, it's very much implied that she, gave him a blowjob. And she's young. She's a teenager. She's young. And it's super gross and awful, and it exists. And it existed. And you know what I fucking remember? That people joked about it. Jeffree Starr has so much power. He has so much power and so much force behind him and forces underneath him that he could easily send out, like Dahvie Vanity used to send out to harass and bully other people, to bring evidence against other people, to support other people. He could easily do something like this. And my favorite thing about Jeffree is that he likes to open his mouth and yap really loud and talk really big, but when it comes to anything that's necessary, that should have happened a decade ago, shushed, completely quiet. There's been records of him coming out, and I have screenshots. I have the screenshots that people have been like passing around, and there's actually more that goes to that, of telling Dahvie that he's awful and gross and stupid and horrible and all of these things, and that he's a child predator and that he's a rapist and that he doesn't get down with that. How quickly do tables turn that it only takes a year for you to change your mind, go back on what you said, make up with this guy, and continue to support him. And then you say to petty Paige, oh, you know, I don't want to mention this and talk about this on my Twitter because I don't want to bring attention to such a guy. For maybe 2, 3, 4 years after he made up with Dahvie, he promoted his work a lot. This is a man that we let gain millions of subscribers, who refuse to believe that he can do any wrong, who had openly supported, and I believe probably in a way does still hold some kind of support towards him if he's not speaking out against him. The thing about people in my space is that they are very loyal to their own, kind of, but there comes a point where you have to stop being so loyal and just, you know, own up and realize, put money aside and realize that this is a kid that got hurt, and there have been countless kids who are now adults and countless kids more who will continue to go to these events and continue to support this guy unless you come out and publicly stand against him, because you could so easily do it, or you could even go to the police, girl. It's an option. Being scared of a lawsuit, being scared for getting in trouble for saying what you want is not Jeffree's little brand identity, okay? There is no reason to not come out against Dahvie Vanity. Even Jay did it. Even Jay said something about Dahvie. Get it going. Get it going, sis. Bring it to the table so we can eat. And then we can take our forks and stab Dahvie with it. That's all I'm saying. No cap. The emo punk scene for a young girl is intrepid and full of landmines. And the fact that so many people were taken advantage of when they were young, and so many people were made fun of for what they publicized on the early days of the internet, is horrifying and despicable. And all of these victims were hurt and continue to get hurt, because it just is so painful to think about and to realize that this situation has been going on for half of my lifetime, and I've known about almost every step of it, and realized along the way that there's still no serious action being taken, and there's still nothing really done. I'd like to thank Sesh and Pastel Bell and also Repsion. And there have been countless other YouTubers throughout the years who have done really good videos examining the internet's culture with harassing women or / young girls, just sort of situation, and discussing the disgusting nature of blood on the dance floor. I hope that I can find more information that can be provided and that can contribute to the discussion, but for now I don't really have much more to say, and I'll obviously make another video when the situation updates itself. I really want Jeffree to make a form of response. It's the least that it's legitimately the least that he could do at this point, to make any form of response. Anyways, thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate it. I'm sorry that it was so quick and that I talk so fast all the time. I hope that my audio is a little bit better. I'm trying to use a different setup, so if you can hear the audio better, let me know. I really hope you can. I really hope you can. I appreciate the discussion, and I hope that, you know, Dahvie can finally go to jail one day and get him that good old prison barber cut. Just machete down the sides. Gonna look like a skunk tail. Anyways, thank you so much. I hope that you appreciated it. Please think about liking this video. Please think about subscribing so you can get notified of when I make an update video to this drama, because I'm sure that it's gonna fucking happen, and I'm gonna be grossed out all the while. Thank you.